guys! Today we'll be recapping a story called Survive as the Villain's Cousin. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. Enjoy! The kids are calling out for their teacher, their voices filled with screams and tears. Their hero, Lee Soo-yeon, an incredible kindergarten teacher, has just saved them from a bus accident. She is ready for her end. But you all know how it goes, right? Yup, Bus-kun has chosen to send her into the romance novel she loved reading. I'm not sure if Bus-kun decided to show up in a mysterious human form or if this character is significant to the story, but with the help of the clock wand, Lee Soo-yeon is now part of a story called Cinderella Who Doesn't Wear Glass Shoes, the top romance fantasy bestseller. The main plot of the novel revolves around a female lead who has the ability to see spirits and wields a pink wand that looks just like the one from Cardcaptor Sakura, if you're familiar with her. This story features 4 male leads: the Crown Prince, the female lead's endgame, the red-haired guy Ariel, the villain, Grendwon, the knight's commander, and last, the cursed second prince, Sirius. For sure, the main characters will get their happy ending, but it's gonna come at the cost of all the supporting leads. So what happened with Soo-yeon? She is now Siriya Ardentine, a lovely 7-year-old with adorable purple hair. She's a minor character and the daughter of the late Duke Ardentine. Siriya became an orphan after her mom sadly passed away in an accident, which is why her father's younger brother, the current Duke, took her in. Her uncle has precious red-haired twins, Ariel and Ariel, who are both 5 years old and absolutely adore her. But one day, these two will become the greatest villains. In the story, Siriya, driven by jealousy, corrupts the twins, leading to the tragic death of her nanny and ultimately her own life after she curses the twins. Siriya's plan is to fill her cousins with love and keep them from turning into villains. Their laughter fills the room with joy, but the charming Duke Nermes Ardentine has to step in and remind them to keep it down. Does he have a wife? Asking for research purposes. Because their father is so cold, the twins assume he hates them, so Siriya resolves to speak with Nermes because parental love is vital as well to keep the kids from becoming villains. Siriya bravely enters the Duke's office, and Mr. is just so smexy with that red hair and beautiful green eyes. Yet for our girl, he is as cold as ice, just like in the book. Anyway, Siriya reminds her uncle that the twins at their age need their parents' love, so she suggests that they have tea together. This is her plan because begging the Duke to offer them love will definitely fail, so pushing them to spend time together should do the trick. The Duke looks at her coldly before asking if the twins asked to be loved, prompting Siriya to clarify that this is simply her idea because raising the twins so strictly and focusing only on punishment will prevent them from growing properly. Listening to her causes the Duke to go silent, and he recalls Rowan, Siriya's deceased mother, saying something similar. Oh, that lovely photo on the back is Siriya's parents, isn't it? Our girl suggests that they have their tea time once a month so the Duke can take the chance to check on the twins' progress and offer them praise and advice. The Duke has such a warm smile as he listens to Siriya, though he can't help but wonder what she might gain from all of this. Well, aside from the fact that this method will help the twins grow up properly, she doesn't seem to mind anything else. The Duke takes a moment to consider and then agrees to Siriya's request, causing our girl to light up with joy. She happily leaves the room while the Duke smiles again, noticing that Siriya truly resembles her mom. When Siriya returns to the twins, she is so surprised when they instantly jump to her for a hug. They were really worried that after Siriya talked to their father, she might get kicked out. Siriya reassures them that the Duke isn't as heartless as they think. She then gives them a big smile as she shares the exciting news that they'll have a monthly tea time with the Duke. The twins are feeling a bit uncertain about the news, which makes Siriya giggle since she's one step closer to escaping her fate. In the novel, Siriya is meant to pass away after cursing the twins, but she obviously didn't. Our little star has become even more dazzling at 16, and thanks to their monthly tea time, the bond between the twins and their dad has really blossomed. It's a total bummer we didn't get to see the kids grow up. In any case, Siriya made sure to jot down the summary of the novel in her diary, which scares me because someone may read it, but I think she needs it to remember the plots. Next year will mark the Crown Prince's 15th birthday banquet, and in the novel, Ariel will fall in love at first sight with him, while Helios, the Crown Prince, will find himself falling for Daisy, the female lead. Ariel, feeling jealous, decides to curse Daisy, even though it means ending her own life. Fortunately, Daisy manages to survive thanks to Sirius, one of the male leads, who makes the ultimate sacrifice to break the curse. Even after the two characters pass away, Daisy's life will remain quite complicated as Ariel begins a rebellion to take her away. Grendoin will sacrifice himself to protect Daisy in the burning palace, but the rebellion will end after Helios takes down Ariel, leading to a happy ending for the lovers. Yes, only them, because none of the other characters lived. Crazy! Siriya feels a sense of relief as she manages to steer clear of her villainous fate, but she can't shake off the fear that comes with the fast-approaching start of the original novel. Today is their monthly tea time, and the twins, at 14 years old, have lost their plump cheeks. Ariel is clearly the smart one, having recently finished studying the language of a kingdom near the Magic Tower, and now preparing to master the language of Rehen, Siria's mother's homeland. Ariel, on the other hand, is your average musclehead who is so clumsy that breaking a vase is normal. Yet he is extremely strong for attaining the level of sword expert, which is just a step away from becoming a sword master. However, their monthly bonding is disrupted when they hear a loud scream. A maid rushes in, apologizing for cutting their tea hour short, but her expression suggests that something horrible has happened. After the maid reports the situation to the Duke, he immediately chooses to investigate and gives Siriya a bombastic side-eye. Siriya quickly realizes that whatever happened must have something to do with her, so she offers to go with him, which he accepts. Siriya feels a bit puzzled when the maid leads them to her room, and upon entering, she is taken aback by what she sees. Her bed's all messed up with blood, the pillows are totally wrecked, and right in the middle is this creepy cursed doll. Our girl quickly figures out that this is a scene from the novel and the only moment where Siriya shows up. In the novel, little Siriya discovered a cursed doll in her nanny Byrne's room and accused her of cursing the twins. The accusations led to the nanny's execution, but the Duke kept digging and discovered Siriya's hair and earrings in the nanny's room. He also found a diary that showed Siriya's jealousy toward the twins, leading everyone to think she was the mastermind, something Siriya firmly denied. But when she noticed that the twins weren't believing her, that's when she lost her cool and turned wicked. Hold on! Siriya has every right to be furious, considering she should have been the heir, right? Or perhaps her father handed over the title to his brother? Even so, Siriya is confused as to why this incident is happening now instead of when the twins were 10 years old. Now back to the present, the Duke uses his power on the doll and discovers that it's not cursed. To their surprise, after the doll turns to ashes, it reveals Siriya's hair strand and earring. Finding this stuff in her own room instead of the nanny's makes her realize that the nanny's target is her and not the twins. The novel portrayed Siriya as the villain due to her jealousy, but really, she was just hurting, you know? Unfortunately, since there isn't enough evidence, Siriya can't just say that the nanny is the culprit. But there's no need to worry because Uncle has a plan to catch the mastermind himself. He orders everyone to gather while she is determined to uncover the alibi and her nanny's reasons for acting this way. While everyone is busy investigating, Siriya stays in her room and notices the strange smell of the blood. As soon as Siriya hears footsteps, she suspects it's Mrs. Byrne, so she quickly hides behind the curtain while the butler, Dane, gives Byrne a serious talk for ignoring the Duke's orders about not touching anything in the room. Suddenly, the Duke appears, and it looks like he's already figured out that Byrne is the one responsible, so he allows her a chance to come clean. The Duke already knows that the red liquid on the bed isn't blood, but ray-proof sap, which is used for dyeing fabrics. Before he dives into detective mode, he opens the curtains where Siriya is hiding and asks her if she doesn't trust him with his investigation. Siriya showers her uncle with compliments about how much she trusts him, and becomes really curious about how he discovered it's Byrne, which makes her uncle crack a mischievous smile. While it may not be visible to normal people, the Duke can spot the high-level magic in the red liquid, allowing him to realize that Byrne combined ray-proof sap with hargan berries. The berries are known to be poisonous, which means Byrne planned to poison Siriya all along. But here's the twist for this nanny. Hargan berries mixed with ray-proof sap actually turn into a medicine that can boost magic power. But the nanny just gives a little smirk, saying that the evidence doesn't really show she's the criminal. Since when do Manhwa nobles need proof to punish their servants? Looking for more evidence? Sure thing. The Duke heads to the closet where Byrne hurriedly tucked away her apron and gloves after a maid nearly caught her earlier. Byrne continues to deny it, saying that someone stole it, but the Duke just places his hand on his waist, ready to present more proof if she remains unwilling to confess. This makes Byrne drop to her knees in tears, explaining that she just did what the wizard instructed her to do. The Duke then remarks that she should feel thankful the wizard taught her the curse wrong, otherwise she might have ended up like the cursed doll from earlier, turned to dust. Now that Byrne has confessed she's the culprit, the Duke unsheaths his sword, ready to execute her. But Siriya steps in, hoping to have the chance to decide Byrne's punishment herself. First, she wants to understand why Byrne seems so hostile towards her, and discovers that Byrne's child is unwell. The Duchess graciously allowed her to bring her child into the mansion, but the Duke disapproved of this as he's concerned that managing 4 children would be quite a challenge. For short, the nanny thought that if Siriya weren't around, she could have raised her child along with the twins. Siriya knows that the reason might seem petty, but she understands Byrne's love for her child. So she decides to keep this incident a secret. However, Byrne will still face the consequences of being fired and banned from working in any noble household. She has to go back to her place and be with her kid, which totally makes Byrne lose it and cry while saying sorry to Siriya. Our girl is such a softie. After all the drama, the Duke declares that Siriya's room will be sealed away, stating that it is too far, so she will be moving to the room next to the twins. A year has gone by, and our sweet girl is now 17, which means the Crown Prince's birthday banquet is just around the corner. Siriya really needs to find a way to stop Ariel from falling for Helios. Even though she's already given Ariel early education to dislike the Crown Prince, she can't shake off her worries. The twins come running to her, and even though these cuties are already 15 years old, they still totally live for Siriya's compliments. Siblings be siblings, the twins can't stop bickering, so Siriya has to step in and remind them that they're family and must cherish each other, which makes the twins pause their argument and turn to her with concerned expressions. Ariel gets all teary as she tells Siriya that she is family too, the most precious one to her, while Ariel adds that they're connected by blood. This makes Siriya realize that the twins were worried that since she has no parents, she might feel all alone. It's so heartwarming to see how close these cousins are. They then decide to have tea together, and Ariel shares her excitement about wearing couple dresses with Siriya for the upcoming birthday banquet. Siriya gently informs them that she won't be attending, as she's not meant to be at that event, you see, since she was supposed to have passed away long ago. So she comes up with a little excuse about having a cold. It looks like she sees herself as a variable in the original novel, huh? The twins say they can't have fun if she's not feeling well, so they choose to stay home with her too. At that moment, the Duke arrives, announcing that everyone must attend the banquet and that he's prepared to call a priest to ensure Siriya is healed before the celebration. This prompts Siriya to admit that she actually didn't receive an invitation, which surprises them. However, as a powerful Duke, he responds with a smug smile, indicating that they can do whatever they want. And just like that, our girl has no choice but to attend the event. The day has finally arrived, and Siriya is absolutely slaying in her white dress. The twins are serving looks in all black, and their red hair is just chef's kiss. If you didn't know these two are total softies, you might think they're baddies. They're on their way now, but Siriya feels a bit anxious about being alive and the possibility of becoming a future obstacle for the twins. This is also why she never stepped out of the house, but now she finally gets to see what the outside world is like. Wow, that's a whole decade of dedication to not messing up the novel. As they step into the palace, Siriya feels a bit nervous with all the attention surrounding them, but thankfully the Duke is right there to assist her. The Emperor steps into the spotlight, and our girl compares him to a chubby school principal, while Helios, the Crown Prince, shines with his silver blonde hair and golden eyes. As the party continues, Ariel asks Siriya for a dance, but his sissy quickly blocks him, stating that she will be Siriya's first dance. Sorry guys, but Siriya has decided to pick the safest partner, which is dancing with the Duke. Is it just me, or should they make the Duke older? I might start questioning whether he's the male lead. They dance flawlessly until the Duke asks, straight-faced, how long Siriya intends to continue calling him Duke. This is the first time the Duke has spoken about something personal with her, but since she is taking her time responding, the Duke cutely says the word uncle. Thank goodness, I almost had a heart attack! Siriya is caught off guard, causing her to step on his foot, so she hurriedly apologizes, but because she calls him uncle, the Duke beams. Even after the dance is over, the Duke is still smiling as he becomes much closer to his niece. He's such a cutie! Next, Ariel takes Siriya for a dance, and she looks charming as she confidently takes the lead. When Ariel smiles and says she would have been bored if Siriya had not attended the party, Siriya advises her to make friends, but Ariel only wants her big sister. This time, Siriya takes a serious approach because she genuinely wants Ariel to meet many people. She gently bumps their foreheads and promises to always be someone Ariel can return to. After the second song, Ariel asks Siriya for a dance, but 3 dances in a row are making our girl feel a bit dizzy. The 15-year-old Helios jumps into their conversation, and it looks like the twins aren't too fond of him, especially when he asks Siriya for a dance. Ariel informs the Crown Prince that Siriya has already promised to dance with him, and Siriya backs this, hoping the prince will understand. Without waiting for his answer, Siriya and Ariel quickly dashed away together, leaving poor Ariel with Helios. After a little while, Siriya chooses to search for Ariel when Lady Canarine mentions that Ariel has gone out to the garden. Very sus, but our clueless girl chooses to trust her and heads outside. And then, bam, someone shoves her into the pond. Siriya recognized that it was the lady from earlier. But that isn't important right now because our girl's dress is extremely heavy and she can't swim, so she might drown in the shallow water. Fortunately, a man came to her aid and helped her stand up. He isn't just any man. He has striking black hair, which shouldn't exist in this world as it symbolizes omens and calamity. This is Sirius, the second male lead and Helios' half-brother. Sirius's mother is a concubine, and the empress placed a curse on her, which Sirius inherited, resulting in his inability to experience emotions. So, he's named Sirius because he's always so serious. Gotta hand it to his mom for that one. Anyway, after helping Siriya in standing up, Sirius is about to go when our girl asks if he can help her all the way because her dress is too heavy. To speed up the whole thing, he decides to carry her and claims that she now owes him, leaving her with little choice but to accept and ask for whatever he wants. However, before Sirius can say anything, the twins and the Duke rush in after hearing she has fallen into the pond. The Duke expresses gratitude to the prince and promises to pay him a formal visit very soon to thank him properly. Siriya then learns from Ariel that Lady Canarine told them about her falling into the pond, which is very confusing. Why would you go after her when you're just gonna tell her fam about what you did? Meanwhile, Sirius remains frozen in place, puzzled about why he just saved someone. His curse still hasn't been lifted yet, but seeing Siriya's eyes shimmer under the moonlight makes him wish for it to be just for him. She fell into the pond, but he fell for her at first sight. Everything returned to normal after the party until Siriya had an unexpected visitor. The very sus Canarine Jafane, a 15-year-old supporting Villainous character and Ariel's right hand in the novel. Canarine is here to say she's sorry and shares that she felt jealous of the love Siriya receives from her family, something she has always wished for. What the helly? Pushing someone you just met because you're jealous is crazy! Well, in defense of this Canarine, she gave Siriya a little surprise, thinking the pond was shallow enough for her to stand up right away. However, when this did not happen, she quickly called for help. Canarine begins to cry as she apologizes, but Siriya is unsurprised because even before entering this novel world, many children commit horrible acts for enjoyment. The only difference is that Canarine has chosen to apologize to her in person, so Siriya embraces her and accepts her apologies. This leads Canarine to open up that she was scolded by her dad that day, so that must have triggered her jealousy. When Siriya hears that Canarine's family sees her as a tool to make them successful, she realizes that this young girl is only desperate to prove her worth to her family. Today, Ariel visits Siriya's room, and Siriya is glad that Canarine chose to confess right away because her little cousin's wicked side nearly came out as she sensed Ariel was plotting to take revenge. Siriya examines her letters today and finds one from Canarine and one from the Academy, implying that the twins have also received theirs. This topic makes Ariel sad because Siriya does not want to enroll. Even last year, she declined her admission offer. Why? First and foremost, she doesn't want to run into Daisy, the female lead. Second, because the academy is just 2 years long. If she enrolls, she would graduate before the twins begin school, so they definitely won't see each other. She finds it a waste of time and prefers to spend time with them. You can tell she is so anxious about her existence that she can't seem to enjoy her new life. The Duke then informs Siriya that he would be visiting the palace tomorrow to express his gratitude, and that he will prepare a gift for the Emperor, so she should prepare something for the second prince. Siriya agrees since she has already decided what she will give Sirius. It is a spirit stone infused with the power of the water spirit, similar to Daisy's blue eyes. In the novel, Sirius's curse reduces when there's a strong spiritual energy, which is why he is drawn to Daisy, who is adored by the spirits. However, because our girl has no connection to spirits, she feels happy to be able to provide Sirius a spirit stone as a temporary solution. As someone who never goes out, where did she get something so precious? Okay, let's ignore that. Siriya just has one problem. She might bump into the Empress, the same person who cursed Sirius's mother while she was pregnant and taught the curse to Ariel. In other words, the novel's final villain. The entire Ardentine family has arrived at the palace to express their gratitude, and while the Duke and Emperor are engaged in business discussions, Siriya and the twins are guided to Sirius's palace by a maid. While they continue their stroll, they hear something in the bush that causes Ariel to go into protective mode, but Siriya investigates and discovers that it is just a delicate-looking lady who has hurt her foot. Is she a spirit? A princess? An evil princess? Still, when Siriya sees the lady's ankle bleeding, she jumps in with her handkerchief to help out, while Ariel lets her know that the maid has gone to get a knight or a doctor. While they wait, Siriya smiles and introduces herself to the lady, totally catching her off guard with her kindness. She softly thanks Siriya before introducing herself as Bella Kalin. Siriya then decides to wrap the energy stone she intends to give to Sirius in a handkerchief and place it over Bella's swollen eyes like an ice pack, as it has cooling effects. Bella loves it, and this situation reminds her of how Helios helped her when they were little after she fell down. Helios is her Prince Charming, and she has loved him for a long time. But she has noticed that Helios has become interested in the Ardentines, particularly during the banquet when he and Ariel danced together. That explains what happened when they left Ariel. Bella's heart ached that night, but oddly enough, the warmth she feels around Siriya in Ardentine today is so comforting, and she finds herself embracing it completely. Why does our girl look like she gave birth to this lady? Bella then mentions how good Ariel's dancing was at the banquet and how cute she and Helios look together. Siriya's plan to keep Ariel from falling in love with Helios appears to be working, as our redhead girly pop looks so bummed as she explains how the Emperor forced her to dance with Helios. Their chat is cut short when a handsome blonde rushes in to quickly carry his younger sister Bella. This cutie is Grendwin, and he thanks Siriya for her assistance, while Helios also arrives to say thank you, as Bella is like a sister to him. Helios brightens when he sees Siriya, but Ariel, who is overprotective, blocks his approach, causing the two to argue. Do they seem cute together, or is it only me? To put an end to this, Siriya points out that they would need to leave to meet Prince Sirius, and the Crown Prince bids her farewell and expresses his wish to see her again soon. Our girl is smiling on the outside, but inside she's like, no thanks. She really doesn't like Helios. Siriya observes how neglected the second prince's palace is just by looking outside, and the inside looks dark as well. Sirius isn't really that serious. He's all smiles when he sees them, but Siriya can totally tell that his smile and moves are all rehearsed. As they all take their seats, Siriya notices that the interior appears to have been hastily cleaned because there are guests, and even the maid who attends them appears to be temporary. They begin by having tea, but the poor prince's comment about it makes her realize he has never had tea. Not only that, but cake is new to him, making her feel awful and wish she could simply take him away from the Empress. Siriya is so caught up in her thoughts that she mumbles about wishing he were a puppy so she could take him easily, which Sirius overhears, so she hastily tweaks her words and says she wants to raise a puppy. After finding that she likes dogs, the second prince suddenly vanishes and reappears with his super cute fluffy black puppy in his hand. A man who will get you a puppy is a sure sign. He wants to give it to her, but she refuses because she can't take anything home without the Duke's consent. But seriously, who could say no to that adorable puppy face he's making? For sure, it's not me or our girl, so she accepts before handing him the Spirit Stone, while the twins offer him a sword. Now that they've finished what they came for, Siriya says her goodbye, which makes Sirius put on that sad face that our girl thinks is just for show. Nope, this boy has fallen, and neither of you knows it yet. Siriya picks up the little pup and happily says the normal, "See you next time," as he stands there feeling a bit lonely. They are now back home, and Uncle is hesitant to keep the dog. However, after her adorable antics, Uncle finally agrees, but with the condition that the dog can't go into her room. Siriya and the twins begin brainstorming names for the fluffy pup, and since it's as black as the night sky, Siriya happily suggests the name Night, or in Korean, Bam. Aww, little fluffy Bammy Pie! Canarine has been writing Siriya letters every week, and through the letters, the two have become friends. When Canarine's father, Count Jafian, hears of their friendship, he invites Siriya to their mansion, which Canarine requests she decline. So, yeah, our girl is on her way there now. The Jafian family used to be a Viscount family, but after a gold mine was discovered in their territory, they were elevated to the Count's house. Probably because of their newfound wealth, they have a bad image among nobles, as they are notorious for being extravagant and looking down on lower nobles. When Siriya arrives at the Jafian's estate, the Count greets her, but when he sees she has come alone, his bright smile fades into a frown, leading her to guess that the Count's target is the Ardentine's heir, Ariel. He will use his daughter to form an alliance with the Ardentine dukedom via marriage, which is really trashy of him. As a servant guides her to Canarine's room, she's captivated by the extravagant surroundings, which stand in stark contrast to Canarine's room, which appears quite outdated. Since Canarine can't wander around their own estate, they choose to just chat in her room and enjoy some delicious cake. As the year comes to a close, they chat about getting ready for the upcoming National Foundation Festival. Siriya excitedly mentions that she's already visited the tailor shop with the twins, while Canarine is still unsure about what dress she will wear. All she knows is that her dad will choose the fanciest dress from his tailor. Yes, a men's tailor, and he doesn't bother checking the design, just goes for the most expensive one. This sweet girl is treated like a doll. After a bit of friendly conversation, Canarine gathers her courage to ask Siriya if she can start calling her by her nickname, Kana, just like her mother used to do. Her mom sadly passed away after birthing her sibling, so no one has ever called her by her nickname again. Since Siriya is her first friend, she hopes she can call her Kana. Siriya instantly accepts and joyfully tells her that she's her first friend too. Kana is really happy about this. She thinks it would be amazing for Siriya to use Nia as a nickname, since it's the name of a mischievous fairy who protects people from the book her mom used to read to her. Siriya feels a bit flustered by being compared to a fairy, but when Kana offers her the book, she happily agrees to read it. Our girl has a connection to fairies, but I just can't prove it yet. Siriya's days had been peaceful until one night when she awoke to the sound of a man's voice. She immediately sits up and grabs her dagger because no ordinary person can break through the Duke's magical barrier, implying that whoever it is could be a dangerous assassin. However, when she opens her window, she is surprised to see Sirius, who confesses that he became nervous because the next time she promised never happened. Look at his ears getting all red. Siriya hears a cute woof and wonders how Bam got to the second floor, prompting Sirius to laugh at the cute name before revealing that he and Bam are actually linked by magic. This is also why he was able to get beyond the Duke's barrier, leading her to believe that this is why the Duke restricts Bam from entering her room. As the wind starts to get colder, Siriya invites Sirius into her room, catching the gentleman off guard. Meanwhile, our sweet girlie simply smiles, thinking this meeting could last a while. Yo, Uncle, your niece just brought a man into her room. Anyway, the two settle down and Siriya asks again why he's here, prompting Sirius to gently remind her of the promise she made last time. You know, that "see you next time" phrase she said half a year ago. When she sounds so surprised that he really waited for her, he begins to look quite downcast, thinking that she might have lied to him. This drives her to immediately explain that it was simply a normal greeting, leading him to believe that if he did not take the initiative to visit her tonight, they might never meet again. He sounds more like a puppy than Bam. Siriya chuckles a bit and reassures him that they will definitely meet up eventually, even if he can't make it tonight. Maybe at the founding festival or the Academy's entrance ceremony. But Sirius, with a serious expression, confesses that he doesn't want to just see her at public events. Sounds cheesy, but what surprises Siriya is the way his eyes flash red for a moment. She chooses to brush it off for now and thoroughly explain to him that if he wants to meet with someone, he should set an appointment in advance, and the simplest way to do so is to send a letter. She realizes from his confused expression that this poor prince has never received a proper education, yet his puppy face right now convinces her that he's experiencing a new emotion: curiosity. He doesn't have a servant, so she proposes he ask Helios to bring the letter to her, but he doesn't want his half-brother to know about their connection. When she suggests that he use magic instead, he agrees, which solves one problem. What's the other problem? It's just that she feels a bit vulnerable at the moment. Sirius gets up and has to break it down for her about how off it is to invite somebody into her room instead of just kicking him out. He's all up in her space, brushing her hair and leaning in for a kiss. But she's not having it. She screams and pushes him away. Thankfully, this helps him get back to his usual self, and he quickly says sorry for getting carried away by her scent and losing control. Even after that, our girl doesn't seem to be afraid of him, and even gives him a little lecture about how such things need the other person's consent. Plus, he isn't even an adult yet. Sirius gives her a sincere look and promises to never touch her without her permission. Before he heads out, he drops to one knee and asks if he can kiss the back of her hand. She shyly accepts, and the kiss lingers, making her heart race with excitement. After that, he gets ready to use his teleportation magic and gives her a smile. But our girl is left feeling puzzled once more as his hair turns white and his eyes turn red. Is that his real color if he isn't cursed? But I really like the black hair on him. The next morning, Siriya is awakened by Ariel calling her from outside, and that's when she notices that Sirius left his black coat in her room. She hastily hides it under the sheet, but it's still visible. Yet Ariel, looking quite serious, doesn't seem to notice as she announces that she will come with her. Ariel's direct way of speaking really reminds Siriya of the Duke, which is quite impressive. However, she gently reminds Ariel that this discussion has already been settled. You see, Ariel and Siriya are the only ones going to the House Kalen's party, while Ariel and the Duke will be at a welcome event. It looks like Ariel has had a change of heart since she doesn't feel confident in Ariel's ability to look after Siriya, but thankfully, Siriya is able to convince her that she will be alright. Ariel heads off to her appointment while Siriya and Ariel head to the House Kalen party together. As the big brother, Grendwan expresses his heartfelt thanks to Siriya for helping Bella last time. Believing that she doesn't need any material gifts, he offers his help with anything she might need in the future. Siriya accepts and then comments on how Bella looks like a literal angel right now, which sends Grendwan into simp mode, and he can't help but gush about how adorable his sister is. Oh my, he's just like a golden retriever. In the novel, this guy is the strong and commanding leader, but discovering that he's actually a caring big brother brings so much joy to Siriya. Bella then joins the conversation and asks Siriya if she may start calling her sister, and when our girl agrees, Grendwan butts in, adding that he wants to call her sister too, and she can start calling him Ren if she likes. Ariel jumps in, saying he's the only one allowed to call Siriya sister, and that sparks some playful bickering. Siriya can't help but giggle because it's clear these two are about to become besties. Today is both the new year and the day of the Aslande Empire's founding festival, thus, the city is bustling with activity since the event will last a week. Siriya sneaks out to town to buy a gift for Canarine, wrap it in a big box with a few snacks, and hide Sirius's cloak inside to deliver it to him at the festival party. And look who we have here. Siriya runs into Helios, disguised with brown hair. He looks extra attractive without the lavish attire, though. He's actually out here to check on the people as part of his imperial duties, but our girl doesn't care and simply leaves, claiming she's busy. Still, Helios follows her and smiles, saying that the more she runs away, the more he wants to catch her, reminding her that in the novel, this guy likes both interesting things and those who despise him. Siriya can only sigh at her state and chooses to let him be while she searches for an accessory for Canarine. Helios also assists her, but he believes that a noble lady may not appreciate a gift bought from a street vendor, prompting Siriya to confidently state that her friend will still be happy. Hearing how solid their friendship is makes Helios jealous, since while he considers Grenouan a friend, he's unsure whether Grenouan feels the same way. Siriya, who has read the novel, is certain that Grenouan is Helios' loyal friend because he gave up on Daisy for him. Siriya then gives Helios a loving smile, encouraging him to be brave, and simply asks Grenouan, causing the Crown Prince to pause for a moment before beaming at how weird she is. After that, he gives her an item that she believes Canarine will like, so she accepts. But in exchange, he asks her to do him a favor the next time. I'm starting to like this Crown Prince. He seems nice. Tonight is the festival banquet, and Ariel is such a sweetheart, reminding Siriya that he is her escort and first dance partner. The Ardentine family walks in, and as usual, all eyes are on them. They are then welcomed by Marquise Kalin, who appears icy as he refers to Siriya as the secret jewel of House Ardentine. But Mr. seems to be a good guy based on his wide smile as he says he hears stories about her from Bella. Not long later, the imperial family arrives, and this time the empress appears, but only for a moment as she claims to be sick. With that being announced, the crown prince will take the first dance in her place. And yes, this guy approaches Siriya and smiles, asking her to dance. This is obviously the wish he wants her to grant, so she has little choice but to comply, and she's already planning ways to apologize to Ariel. Poor Ariel has yet to take her for a first dance. Come here and I will dance with you. Siriya becomes uneasy while dancing as she notices the Empress staring at her, causing her to stomp on Helios' foot. This charming prince just smiles, and as the dance comes to a close, he gently kisses her hand, making her blush bright red, especially since it's all happening in front of the nobles. Very cheeky. Siriya finds the Empress eyeing her again. But now that she thinks about it, the Empress appears to be as youthful as the Duke, who ages slowly because he's a sword master. Oh, I assumed it was all Uncle's secret skincare routine. With the Empress aware of a curse that costs a life, Siriya starts to think that perhaps the Empress is a mage herself. The shy Kana interrupts her thoughts, waving from a distance and gesturing they converse on the terrace. She excuses herself from the twins and immediately hands Kana the cookies she made when they finally meet. It seems that the cookies got a bit broken during the trip, so Siriya is thinking about baking her cookies next time. But Kana really wants to take them anyway. When Siriya gives Kana the orange hair ribbon accessory, this darling starts tearing up from happiness and can't wait to put it on right away. Siriya gladly does it for her, and yes, it looks fantastic on Kana. Out of nowhere, glowing butterflies begin to circle them, and one turns into a piece of paper, prompting Siriya to realize that it's from Sirius. He's still learning to write letters, so he wrote a simple sentence saying he's waiting at the pond. Siriya arrives at the meeting place, holding the gift box where she places his cloak, and Sirius greets her with a smile. The cloak is finally back to its owner, and Siriya even included some cookies for him too. He sweetly holds onto it and mentions he'll cast a preservation spell before draping his coat over her like it's the most natural thing in the world. She suggests he should eat it and promises to bake him more next time. But that big smile on his face shows he's genuinely committed to keeping it preserved. She ends their chat there, and having returned his cloak, chooses to go inside. Queen, what is going on here? You returned his cloak and now have his second cloak? Sirius asks Siriya if he did anything wrong, which confuses her, so she innocently replies that she's finished with what she came to do, and they're not close enough to make small talk. This prompts the second prince to slowly approach her and claim she's special to him, before looking directly into her eyes, wondering if she's avoiding him because he's cursed. He then begs her not to distance herself because meeting her has turned his once monotone life into something vibrant and colorful. I do, sir, I do! His eyes become red again, and she remembered reading in the novel that when he feels emotion, his eyes and hair color change. This indicates Sirius's confession to Siriya is real, but Daisy is supposed to hear it, not Siriya, who lacks the power of spirits. This guy goes on to add that for some reason, he feels drawn to her and has already imprinted on her, so he kisses her hair and hopes she won't run away from him. Siriya is visibly blushing, but she dislikes how he forgot his promise not to touch her without her permission. Even though this guy likes her, is really attractive, and is just her type, she can't let him do whatever he wants. So she begins playing with his face and orders him not to touch her. Absolutely! Show him who is in charge! She lets go after a while, clarifying that she's not avoiding him because of his curse. Next, she tells him that people are not something he can own, and that it is not good to force your feelings on someone, which surprises him greatly. Finally, she asks him to cherish his life above all else, or better yet, to value all life, which he agrees to try. She can't stay here any longer since the twins will be worried, so he uses his teleportation magic on her and smiles as he wishes her a good new year. What a wonderful way to start the year! 2 months have passed, and Siriya can now definitely claim that her cousins have avoided the villain route. However, if the Empress is a mage, as Siriya suspects, and destroys the Empire, everything Siriya has done will be in vain, so she has to create a countermeasure. What's more weird is that all of the novel's characters are interested in her, but Sirius is on another level. He's obsessed. I love how she is aware. She admits that Sirius is cute, but she's never considered getting into a relationship because her main objective since getting isekai'd is to avoid death and her cousins becoming villains. Now that she has accomplished this, all she needs to be mindful of is the Empress. It's finally the Academy's entrance ceremony, and Siriya is excited to join the twins on their first day at school. Today marks the beginning of the novel's main story, and after all those years, Siriya is so proud to have come this far with her sweet cousins. Siriya suggests they eat first because it's early, and as they go about, she runs into someone dressed in a cloak. However, Siriya notices the person's blue eyes and believes it is Daisy, but before she can double-check, the figure has vanished. She begins to overthink things, but then understands that if it is Daisy, she should be wearing the Academy's white uniform rather than a suspicious cloak. This is the first we've heard about the female lead. The twins say their goodbyes to Siriya, and Ariel tells her that the carriage waiting area is located past the Academy's forest. On her way, she overhears students raving about the Crown Prince as the freshman representative, which confuses her because this is not what happens in the novel. Daisy should have ranked first in the entrance exam, making her the representative. As a result, Helios becomes captivated and their love story begins. Since that did not happen and Helios is now the freshman representative, it can only be assumed that Daisy did not rank first, or that something happened to her. Siriya is anxious to find out what happened to the female lead when suddenly, Granduan rushes up to her. Ren actually skipped the entrance ceremony because it was boring, which is perfect timing for Siriya because she wants someone to check the results board and see what rank a student named Daisy earned. Thankfully, Ren didn't ask her any questions and simply did what she asked. But when he returns, Siriya is shocked because Daisy is not on the freshman list. She becomes confused because even if the circumstances are not in accordance with the novel, Daisy should have attended the academy because it is what young nobles are expected to do. Siriya nearly stumbles, which worries Ren and prompts her to caress his hair in gratitude for his help. Her only wish now is for him to keep the request she made today a secret, which he accepts. But her touch is turning this cutie pie red. Still can't choose a bias. The leads are all so charming. Ren says his goodbye, and Siriya makes her way to her carriage, but suddenly a dagger whizzes by her. She checks what's going on and spots a fight. So when the assassins notice her, they quickly try to attack her, but she's saved by a water barrier created by a girl who resembles Daisy. The female lead looks stunning and cool. Siriya runs away, but an assassin pursues her after striking a knife right into her leg. She prepares for her death, but to her awe, Sirius appears and teleports them away. She's shocked that he's here, but this cute boy smiles and reminds her that they promised to meet on the day of the entrance ceremony. She thanks him and is still shaken by what happened, but she begs him to help the lady who saved her. They teleport back to the scene, and Daisy is already unconscious on the ground and about to be stabbed, so Sirius has no choice but to use his power to eliminate the assassins and turn them to ash, leaving no trace. Siriya feels guilty about getting Sirius's hands stained with blood, but he seems unfazed and is just pleased that she now owes him 2 wishes. Returning to the unconscious Daisy, Sirius states that she feels more like a spirit than a human, and he cautions Siriya not to become involved with her. Siriya will never leave someone who has just saved her, which Sirius agrees with, but reminds her that he has saved her twice. He sounds like a loan shark. Following that, he teleports the ladies to Ardentine's estate. The Duke has already had Daisy treated by a priest, and he asks about Siriya's injury, which leads her to jokingly ask if he's worried. With a concerned expression, my husband expresses his worries, saying she better not get hurt again, which surprises Siriya and brings her to tears. This helps her realize that maybe she also needs some parental love, not just from the twins and her friends. It's been a month since the twins started school, and the person she thought was Daisy hasn't woken up. While waiting, Siriya examined the Luteron Viscount family, Daisy's family in the novel, but to her disbelief, the family only has one daughter, Selena, who is 18 years old, has light brown hair and brown eyes, and is already married. This is getting quite interesting. Any theories, guys? Siriya opens her diary, also known as the novel summary, and this time she notes the biggest plot twist and anomaly of the story. There is no female lead. Siriya is feeling unsure about what to do next, and marriage or leaving home are really not in her plans. But the big question is, who is this short brown-haired lady? She's stuck on where to find answers, so she chooses to focus on herself by studying. This way, she can grow stronger and make choices for herself. Months have gone by, and Ariel always remembers to send letters to Siriya, sharing updates about their academy life and expressing how much she misses her. Summer vacation is just around the corner, but Ariel has chosen to stay at the academy for advanced courses, so it looks like we won't be seeing the cousins together anytime soon. It's not just Ariel sending letters. Siriya's letterbox is filled with letters from Kana, Bella, and Ren about her observations of Ariel and his affection for his sister, as well as playful letters from the Crown Prince. Everyone stays in touch with her, but she hasn't received a single letter from the guy who's supposed to be in love with her, Sirius. This leaves our girl feeling a bit frustrated, and since she wants to take her mind off him, she chooses to go for a walk with her new personal maid, Daisy. She totally turned the original female lead into her servant! That's some transmigrator goals right there! How did this all happen? When the short-haired girl awoke a few months ago, Siriya quickly asked if her name was Daisy, but the girl just looked confused. The priest then claimed that the lady had amnesia, a mental condition that cannot be cured. However, he also stated that there are cases where a patient's memories return over time. The unfortunate girl looks at Siriya, wondering if she will abandon her now. But since Siriya assumes the girl is not the novel's female lead and is being pursued by assassins, she chooses to take responsibility and take her in. The girl wonders if Siriya called her Daisy because she looks like the Daisy she knows. Siriya is unsure about this because all she knows about Daisy is that she has long brown hair and blue eyes, as stated in the book. As a result, this strange girl decides to go by the name Daisy, which Siriya has no problem with. Since Daisy lost her memory, Siriya decided to keep things light for her. That's why she chose to have Daisy as her personal maid, ensuring that she could be there to help her out whenever needed. Oh, that makes sense. Back in the present, Siriya spots a single pink rose among the red roses in the garden, and it immediately reminds her of Sirius's eye color. His smiling face then pops into her mind and instantly makes her blush. Sirius is clearly playing with her head, so that evening she chooses to relax with a nice glass of wine. She seems a little tipsy already and mumbles about wanting ice, and just like magic, her wish is granted by none other than the very person she's been thinking of. Sirius, my boy! Siriya is really surprised, but maybe it's because she's had a bit too much to drink. She gets quite upset with him for not writing letters, and now has the nerve to just watch her. This makes Sirius laugh so hard, and I would do anything to see that happy expression on his face again. He thinks she looks really cute right now, and shares that he's been sending her letters, but she never received them. So he's been sending those letters via birds or something, and obviously she didn't catch that. She's super annoyed and tells him to send the letters properly, causing him to apologize and swear not to make the same mistake again. He then playfully asks her if she's been waiting for his letters before moving closer to her. This guy really knows how to charm a girl's heart. This time, Siriya doesn't just push him away. She holds his face and asks why he's even here. This causes Sirius's ears to turn red, and as he looks away, he comes up with an excuse about being curious about the lady they helped last time, which leaves her feeling a bit disappointed. Her sad face makes him wonder if showing interest in another woman makes her jealous. And then he cracks a mischievous smile, asking if he can collect his debt now. He leans in closer, and they share a kiss that instantly wakes her up. She quickly turns away, trying to think of how to switch up the mood, but her brain is just blanking out. Sirius thankfully ends their lovey-dovey scene there and gets serious, informing her that the lady they picked up is suspicious. He's been attempting to track down the assassins that pursued Daisy, and is unable to do so, but he is confident that they will be safe because the Duke's security is extremely tight. Says the guy who was able to enter so effortlessly. Siriya thanks Sirius for caring, and this charming guy chooses to leave because it's already late. He did not give our girl a chance to speak before disappearing, which is really unfair to her. This guy really does whatever he wants. However, when their kiss comes to mind, her disappointment turns into a heart-racing moment and our girl is blushing like crazy. Time has gone by, and everyone in the mansion is quite busy since it's the Academy's winter break, which means we'll get to see the twins again. One morning, Daisy becomes curious about what kind of person Duchess Ardentine is, but even Siriya isn't sure since the Duchess went down to a villa not long after she was born. Hold on, so there's a wife? Are they happily married or just married? Duchess Mariana Ardentine is the mother of the twins and Siriya's aunt, but she never makes an appearance in the novel, so our girl has no clue what she's like. Finally, our two redhead simps are back, and it's just like old times. Look at these three hugging like they're still kids. Their relationship is absolutely adorable. Their dinner is filled with stories, and when the twins share their good grades, their father gives them a compliment that brings them so much joy. But their mood shifts when their dad shares the news that their mom will be arriving tomorrow. Oh, she's bad news, isn't she? After their meal, the cousins assemble in a room, and the twins' expressions remind Siriya of when they were still distant with their father. Suddenly, a maid enters the room and informs them that the Duchess has arrived early, which horrifies the twins. But with Siriya holding their hands, they gather their strength to greet their mother. The Duchess has her green hair tied up, and wow, she's actually so pretty! She warmly greets her children and feels joy in seeing how much they've grown. But since she was never around, the twins aren't quite sure how to get along with her. The atmosphere feels a bit tense, so Siriya decides to lighten things up by introducing herself to her aunt. Her aunt seems quite surprised, as Siriya resembles her mom, Rowan, so much. After that, the Duchess chooses to head up to the second floor to meet her husband. And as she walks away, the twins share their thoughts on how their mom seemed like a stranger to them. Valid feelings. Siriya seems more like a mother to them. Siriya hears a knock on her door late at night, and to her surprise, it is the Duchess. Please be nice and don't be a witch. After they've taken their seats, the Duchess hands Siriya a necklace and tells her that she's returned home to fulfill a promise she made to her late friend Rowan. Mariana and Rowan were academy classmates who got close since they were both lonely when their mothers died early. The difference is that Rowan was loved by her family and came overseas only to study at the academy, whereas Mariana used the academy to escape her father's abuse. Rowan was the one who helped Mariana step out from her father's shadow, and she was the only one who truly understood her, so they were practically best friends. However, while on her way to attend Mariana's wedding, Rowan's carriage crashed onto a cliff, and Mariana blamed herself for her best friend's death. The Duchess is in tears as she shares this story, and Siriya kindly offers her a handkerchief. Once the Duchess has settled down a bit, she shares that Rowan once told her there's something she really wanted to do once her daughter became an adult. The Duchess wishes to do it at Rowan's place, so she warmly approaches Siriya and gives her a hug, congratulating her on becoming an adult. She also wishes her a happy birthday. Well, 2 days early, but she wants to say it now so she can give her a present. In Rayhen, Rowan's homeland, there's a tradition where mothers pass down their most precious accessory to their daughters when they come of age. Siriya is still processing everything, but deep down, she feels a strong urge to express these words on behalf of her mother. The accident was never Mariana's fault. Siriya offers a warm smile and reassures her that her mom would have simply regretted missing her best friend's wedding. The Duchess sees Rowan in Siriya as she warmly congratulates her on her wedding, which totally makes her lose it and break down. That was the closure she truly needed. Who's chopping onions over here? Siriya opens the gift box and discovers a ring, prompting Mariana to share that it's Rowan's wedding ring. It fits perfectly on her finger, and she loves that she and her mom have the same finger size. After that, Siriya decides to ask her aunt why she left her twins behind. As expected, she can't bear to stay in the Duke's house and accept Rowan's death. But deep down, she desperately misses her children so much. Still, the guilt is weighing on her as she expresses that she can't hug her children when Rowan can't hug her own daughter. But Siriya encourages her, saying that if she truly wants to make amends, she should focus on living a happy life. Guess who's stepping away from the Duke? Me! Be happy, Mommy! And that's it for today, guys. What did you think? As always, don't forget to like the video and comment for the next part so we know you want more. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications for updates. See you in the next one!